Right, so there we go. Day two of the Romford Film Festival 2025, and we've just had our first short film sessions of the day, including a fantastic little short. What is the name of your movie again? A film by Roland Wehap.
That's right. Easy.
Does that mean we know who you are right now then?
Yeah, it's part of my biography.
Yeah.
But it's not a film about me, it's a film about filmmaking and independent filmmakers and the troubles, the struggle and the fighting and to be seen and get to festivals and all the run.
Well, I think you have one of the wildest, one of the most chaotic, one of the funniest in places, oddly relatable shorts in our festival this year. What made you want to make this movie and make a short about filmmaking in general?
In general, I'm not a filmmaker for fiction films, so I make mostly documentary style films, and I'm that kind of filmmaker. You name a one-man show, one-band show. In reality, I'm not alone. I work with my wife on the documentary films, and I have some people for sound mixing, but more or less it's a one-man show. It's quite easy to make it in documentary films, but one day I was thinking about how would it be to make a film as a one-man show in this fiction kind stuff. And so I said one day, okay, maybe I make a kind of a challenge myself and try to make a short as much as possible on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I started with the idea 8 years ago. Eight, yeah.
Wow.
So just when I had a break from my other work where I get paid for, then I began writing a script and rewriting. So over the years, and the last 2 years, I worked more concentrate on this, and about the last year it was more concentrating on this film. But starting 8 years, and it was funny because when I started writing the script, it was completely different because I'm not an actor, and so my greatest concern was to make a fool of myself in front of the camera, because I'm behind the camera and I feel well behind the camera, but I'm not in front of the camera. And in the beginning I had the feeling, okay, can I pay for this film, because I knew I would have to make all the voiceover, because you don't want to hear me speak English in front of the camera, especially in a film like this. So it was clear to me I need voiceover actors, and this would cost me a fortune. But luckily the years went by and AI went in and it made things easier.
Also, the voiceover is AI?
Yeah, only my voice is Howard Nightingale, a British actor, and all the rest is AI generated.
Right, okay. What was the most challenging thing that you found to do on this film? Because how many credits exactly do you have on?
I didn't count it, so you can do it endless, because I did everything. I made the props, I made the screen building, I made my makeup. So I watched a lot of makeup movies on YouTube. So so if you have my Google search history, you think I'm a completely different person, because I watched makeup movies, makeup influencers. I got into transsexual because I had to. This was the most completed thing to place on the Silicon Priests is not an easy thing.
But you can do it now, so. But you can do it now. So
yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
So, in terms of, you said it was an 8-year process, and when you started it, it kind of became something a little bit different. At what point was that moment that you knew exactly what you wanted it to be? At what point did you realise that the eureka moment of what the film was?
in the beginning, I just wanted to make a film a little bit about my biography,
Yeah.
but I soon realized that is maybe a broader approach to it. So it's really, I think, a film about passion making films, no matter the cost. The last line of the film is, a filmmaker has to make films no matter the cost. And I think we all have the same feeling. We have to make films no matter how difficult it is, how much money it will cost, and yeah.
And with that, you're kind of hoping that the message of the movie is to inspire people to just go out and make the movie. Anyone can make the movie if they really commit to it. Who inspires you in the filmmaking world? Who do you look to for inspiration?
So when we look for comedian films, it's clearly a British humor I like most. So Monty Python, Little Britain, and all that stuff. Yeah, that's my main. That's for me the funniest things on earth. And I admire Wim Wenders, yeah, and Herzog. It's my, yeah.
Quite an eclectic background.
Yeah, because he has both. He has the fiction and non-fiction.
Yeah.
So it's really a great man.
And in this journey of learning all these different aspects of filmmaking, different things you had to put yourself through to get the film made and learn how to do it, what would you say is the biggest thing that, number one, you've learned about filmmaking, but also you've learned about yourself?
About filmmaking, I had on this film many skills I didn't have before. So I learned a lot with this film. So each film is even the films I get paid for when I do client work, I don't dare to say, but they pay me and I learn. It's a lifelong learning. So I'm doing films now from about 40 years, and I'm still learning. So now all this AI stuff is coming, and I think we don't have only to be afraid of it, but we have to use it. We have to use it properly, and then it's a big chance to to do new things and to explore new things. And generally, for me, it was so switching the position from behind the camera to in front of the camera. I got a lot more respect to people who act in front of the camera, even in documentary work, because if you tell a person just sit down and behave naturally, they never do, because they know there's a camera and I have to act properly. And now I know it's very difficult. And I have really deep respect for each actor, but for every person who is in front of the camera.
Is there anything that that happened when you were making this movie that you couldn't possibly have planned for, but it ended up being pure gold, and we see it in the final project right now?
Nothing happened because I had to make this film because I did everything in front and behind the camera. It was really planned, scene by scene and word by word. So I did all the text I wrote. I spoke in front of the camera. I did a playback. So because I used the AI voices. I made the recording or I pressed the button for the AI voice, and then I made, like in the music video, a playback, and I just did a lip sync in front of the camera. So there was not much room to be spontaneous. Yeah. So everything was really planned, and I cut out a lot of things I thought in the beginning I need, but I saw in the end I don't need it, and I would cut it anymore. So when I cut it now, it wouldn't be 30 minutes anymore. So it's always too long.
But is there anything that you cut from the movie? You say you cut a lot of things, but is there anything that you really didn't want to cut, but in the end it just had to go for timing? Or
yeah, I see some this merchandising thing. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit longer, and I think I was thinking about to skip it, but this merchandising thing is quite an important part of filmmaking. You have to sell yourself, and even on my website, so I make a joke of it because in Austria and maybe in Great Britain it's the same. Most of the people say we can't make a film because we don't get the funding. And nowadays we have big problems because our state is almost bankrupt. And I just got the news that film funding in Austria is cut half. And everyone says now is everything going down. And I want just to say with these films, no, maybe try different ways, make it simple, be creative, make a chance of it. So if you don't have the money, think of it, what can I do with the small amount of money I have, and make it in a creative way, maybe even a better film as if you have a big budget. Yeah. Not always a big budget means a big or good film. And coming back to the film website, so I didn't get any funding. So I said, okay, if somebody likes this film, he can get on the fan shop, and there I sell all the props I don't need anymore for very expensive prices. So every rich people in here are invited to go to the website and fund this film in the end.
I love that. One of my favorite things that, and it's kind of the thing that sold your movie to me right away, was your biography bit on Film Freeway. And at the bottom you said something about, if you watch my film and don't select it, that's fine. I do like the way you wrote that, but you are getting selected and you are getting shown places. What has the reaction been like to see people when they get to watch this movie?
So it's the first screening. It's a world premiere. So nobody has seen the film so far. Only Manuela, my wife.
Wow. My
mother has seen it, but I didn't show it anyone. Since I had the feeling, okay, now it's public, it's now, and I had the feeling the few people who are attending today, they laughed at the right places.
That's always helpful.
Yeah, it's.
So we're gonna bounce out to anyone in the audience if anybody has any questions. Do we have anything? Right. So. Short films tend to be, and I feel like I already know the answer to this one, but sometimes they're more of a proof of concept. Would you ever blow this up and make this like a full feature film? Would you maybe do a spin-off to it, more shorts to it? Because I would love to live in this world for a little bit more.
So what I definitely wouldn't do again is kind of this. This is a once in a lifetime. It's enough. Doing a feature-length film, of course, would be a great thing, but I think I'm the documentary filmmaker, and maybe I head in this direction anymore, but never say never. So yeah, why not a short again?
So where can we see you next? What are you working on, if anything, next?
So I just finished a couple of films now. Which is a client work, but I worked for an Austrian chocolate maker for 10 years or 15 years now. It's a really great thing because we do all about 2 to 3 years. We are visiting different countries where the raw cocoa is harvested, and we make documentaries about chocolate making. And the great thing is these films are shown in cinemas at the chocolate factory, where about 250,000 people see these films each year, which is really a lot compared to some well-funded films who screen in the cinema and you're happy if 2,000 or 3,000 people see this film. So I would say about 500,000 to 600,000 people see these films, and I'm completely free to make this film. So it's not a client work that you normally have. So it's really a documentary, honest work, and you have the audience, and that's the great thing.
Not just sneak Roland Wehap in there and just play that.
Yeah. But now, last year I've been to the Pantanal in Brazil, and I've been there for photographing jaguars and wildlife, and I'm thinking about, because I've seen that a lot of tourism is there, and it would be interesting to make a documentary about the influence of tourism on wildlife, so the positive and the negative sides. And I'm thinking about making something in this direction.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you're always working. You've got 40 years in the game. You made a fantastic short film that we got to show here, and I'm so grateful that you submitted to us and let us show it up on the big screen today. And even more grateful that you're here, because it's not a short journey, so it's good to have you here as well. Thank you so much for being here and letting us see your movie.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, and I'm really honored.
Right. Thanks.